Hello there, hope you are doing well. Now apologies for the very clickbaity title for this video. I have to say, it's like one of those ones saying you wouldn't believe how someone changed the way they look with this one weird trick. If you remember those weird ads. Actually, they probably still exist, don't they? Those terrible clickbait ads all over the internet. Not that I've ever clicked on them, so I don't know how you can look younger with this one weird trick. Presumably it's loads of plastic surgery, who knows? But I want to talk about something that's, this is purely an opinion piece. This isn't anything relating to law, not really, but is very much relating to tech. And in some ways, I think the state of cryptocurrency. Now you will remember, not too long ago, I did a video talking about the chip shortage and the way that it's harder to get hold of things that have microchips in them or use silicon. The most obvious examples I used were graphics cards and game consoles. And in particular, you may remember I mentioned that graphics cards such as the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3090, which is probably one of the most powerful graphics cards at the moment, and the 3080 and all of that family are very, very scarce. And actually, it looks like NVIDIA are about to release a new RTX 3080 Ti, which is a slight upgrade, which will stop, essentially, it'll be slightly more powerful, slightly faster, but the big thing is it will have a method to stop people using it to farm cryptocurrency. And this is because graphics cards have become one of the most important things in terms of farming, mining really, I should be using the word mining cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, such as Ethereum, so on and so forth. And as we all know, the crypto market is incredibly volatile, one of the most exciting things in terms of what's happening in tech, and perhaps in terms of what's happening in money right now. Now, before I talk more about cryptocurrency, I want to talk about one you may not have heard about, and this is called Chia. Now you're thinking, I hope I pronounced that right. Chia, C-H-I-A, Chia. Now, existing cryptocurrencies, the majority of them, the ones that you probably know and love or don't love, depending on how you're doing with them, run on something called proof of work when you're mining them. So they use processing power within your computer, often using your graphics card, to solve complex equations. And as those are solved, essentially, you will eventually earn a Bitcoin or a unit of cryptocurrency or whatever it is. Now, Chia is different because instead of using proof of work as a concept, it uses, I suppose you call it proof of space. It relies, instead of relying on your graphics card, your processor, it's relying on the free space on your hard drive. So proof, essentially, of storage, I guess. That might make sense. But yeah, the more storage you have, the easier it is going to be to mine Chia. And it's starting to blow up. It's certainly blowing up in China. Now, the obvious has happened. You'll remember I mentioned that graphics cards are still really, really difficult to get hold of if you want the latest and greatest gaming PC. And mind you, everything is kind of hard to get hold of these days, and I'll talk about that in a second. But what has now happened is because Chia uses hard drive space and it's so many reads and writes to a drive when you're using it, when you're mining for it, that it can quickly destroy an SSD. The lifespan of an SSD is essentially ruined as a result. But of course, you can use slower existing bigger hard drives too. But it means that we're facing a bit of a hard drive shortage. Prices have gone up. There's a concern that hard drives will become as difficult to get hold of as graphics cards, and people are desperately trying to mine Chia, thinking, oh, it might be the next big thing, and I'm going to get rich very quickly. Now, take that on one side. So that's quite interesting. People really are focusing not on the trading of Chia, I think, but more so on the mining of it at the moment, particularly it seems in China. A bit like at the beginning, I suppose, of Ethereum, beginning of Bitcoin, where the focus is very much on the mining of it, but now I think it's traded probably more than it's being mined. Of course, there's a finite amount of some cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin, that can be mined, but there we go. But put that to one side, and then think about what's been happening where I am in this part of the world, in Hong Kong. So in China, cryptocurrency, in many ways, it's been outlawed. People still trade in it. I mean, the fact about cryptocurrency isn't tied to one border. But now it looks like Hong Kong is going to try and regulate cryptocurrency so that only essentially professional investors can trade in it. And the main reason for this, I think, is the volatility. But there's another risk to it in that cryptocurrency has become synonymous, certainly probably in the last few months, if that, with essentially hacking, ransomware, and crime. People are seeing that ransoms have to be paid in Bitcoin. And a lot of the hackers, they're pretty sophisticated. They have help desks that are far better than the help desk you would find if you're using some expensive software package that will help you set up your account, set up your Bitcoin wallet, transfer funds into Bitcoin, then send them to the hackers so they can release your data. And people are saying, oh, maybe we need to outlaw cryptocurrency altogether because it's essentially funding criminal activity. People are also saying, oh, the highs and lows of Bitcoin, if Elon Musk can tweet something or say something, suddenly Dogecoin is really expensive, and he says something else, Bitcoin plunges. It's not a safe market. I have friends who've got very rich in terms of trading on cryptocurrency. I also have friends who've traded on it and lost money very quickly. It is, to my view, it's very much the equivalent of the stock exchange. But even, well, it's not regulated in any way, and you can make a fortune or lose a fortune on a whim. Which got me thinking, did we ruin, as a human race, as investors or miners or just or a bunch of fools who thought we could make a quick buck, have we ruined the concept of cryptocurrency? So cast your mind back when I was a young whippersnapper with more hair, probably wasn't wearing a waistcoat, probably was wearing some band t-shirt from the early 2000s. And I would buy games on Steam and I would buy goods online. And I said, oh, hang on, don't necessarily have to buy things with a credit card. You can actually get a Bitcoin wallet and you could buy goods using Bitcoin. And a few people were trying it, but often it fell through to the dark web and God knows what they were buying, probably something nefarious. But I thought, isn't this cool? This is a currency that isn't essentially backed by a particular country. It's not a fiat currency, but it's something that exists purely in terms of data. And could it be the revolutionary new borderless currency of the future? Could it be something that I've got a Bitcoin wallet, it doesn't matter where I go in the world, the currency won't be subject to currency fluctuations. Haha, what was I thinking then? But it won't depend on, say, has one country done something stupid? Has, for example, Britain decided to do a Brexit and cause the pound to plummet? Wouldn't be subject to any of that. And I thought this is like part of a utopian future where we can actually use this currency where I guess we own it ourselves. We've got a bit of democratization of how it all works. And I was basically a naive idiot. If you look at what cryptocurrency is now, I don't know how many people, apart from those who are buying drugs, weapons, or paying ransomware, are actually buying things with cryptocurrency. I'd be interested if someone's coming to tell me they have bought something. Maybe you bought a Tesla with it before Elon Musk decided it was too risky to do so. But is it actually being used as a currency at all? Instead, it feels like cryptocurrency has become, in some ways, just an investment tool, and maybe it will become a legitimate investment tool. I would argue that Bitcoin probably will, but the highs and lows make it a very high risk one. Or will it essentially become something that becomes a bit of a fad? Will it be something that feels a little bit like, and I have to be pretty bleak about this, that sometimes for all that I want it to succeed, it starts to feel more and more like a bit of a pyramid scheme. The activities of some very high profile users who are desperately trying to get people to buy into an existing or a new cryptocurrency because they either run the platform or they have shares in the platform and they have a vested interest, so they get as many people in at the bottom, which means that the cost goes up, then they sell it off, and then it crashes and everyone essentially loses their money. It just seems awfully, awfully not what it was meant to be. Now my fear is that it will eventually get regulated underground in a way that it never should have been. That just as we've got very, Goldman Sachs, some of the big banks are now thinking, oh, we will start looking at cryptocurrency as an investment tool, we will start trading in it, but it's so easy for them to be scared off. It's very similar, if you think of it, as you're trading in the currency of a country that suddenly suffers some sort of military coup, suddenly falls down. Not that you would, you'd probably be a fool to do that, but who knows, maybe people do. But I do think we've kind of let the whole cryptocurrency universe down. Now a lot of this, I think, not to be too philosophical about this, a lot of this I think comes down to human greed and the willingness to try and make a quick buck. Let's face it, I was watching a video on YouTube the other day about people fighting in a store in the US over Pokemon cards because they have become scarce, therefore they're worth more. I'm still very angry about how much it costs to buy a PS5 or an Xbox Series X because they are scarce and people are buying them up to sell them at massively inflated prices. It does seem, for those who've ever watched the TV show Only Fools and Horses, we've become a world of Del Boys trying to make a quick buck. But then again, maybe we're seeing it as the only way in a very competitive world that we can actually make any money. So maybe it's just human nature and we're just trying to survive, or maybe we're just doing it to try and buy expensive cars and eventually a ticket on a spacecraft run by Elon Musk flying himself to live on Mars. Who knows? But I'd be interested in your views. Is cryptocurrency, I mean, I always want to be really optimistic about this, but have we essentially ruined it? I mean, the whole NFT boom, which I've been following with massive interest, it's ongoing. It's still going. People are buying NFTs, not necessarily knowing what they own. Some NFT sellers are then saying you'll get you'll get rights to copyright with it, which I think is quite cool. But other people, it's like the trading card analogy before, except the trading cards are not unique and not scarce because the piece of art you might own could be duplicated as many times as you want. Again, I wonder whether this is just another big pyramid scheme that people are going to ruin the concept of NFT, which could be a game changer for the art world and the music world in terms of paying money directly to artists. There we go. Anyway, maybe I'm just in a very cynical mood today. Let me know. I'm very, very interested in your views. I'd like to start off a bit of a debate on this. Have we ruined cryptocurrency through our own hubris, ignorance, or greed? Is it going to end up being regulated away into nothing because of all of this? Will we find that the increase in ransomware attacks means that regulators think, we need to stop cryptocurrency, this is on, we can't. I mean, insurance, cyber insurance, by the way, will often cover the payout to a hacking group to get your data back if you're the victim of a ransomware attack. And again, it's a great money-making scheme. You probably make more than you would ever make speculating on Bitcoin, or indeed perhaps even than being a lawyer. But yeah, do let me know. I would be interested to know. I will be speaking at some events in the future, and I would like to do something that is on this very topic with some of my friends who work in this industry, and maybe they'll be a bit more positive than me. But I'm also preparing to give my first in-person talk. If you happen to be in Hong Kong, the British Chamber of Commerce is doing a GBA summit, and I'm talking about smart cities and data in a room with actual people in front of me. Not many of them, and they'll all be wearing masks, but hey, it's completely different to how it has been for a long time, and I can't really remember the last time I had the joy of seeing people's faces react to what I'm saying rather than speaking as I am now into a camera. But yeah, if you are investing in cryptocurrency, be careful out there. If you are trying to mine Chia, don't buy all the hard drives. Just don't be an idiot. That's my advice for life. But anyway, you've been listening to me, Paul Haswell. I'll be back very soon. In the meantime, have a good one, stay safe, and let me know what you think. And if you have become a Bitcoin millionaire, tell me how you did it, because I'm pretty sure that I'd be, generally, I'm a bit like betting on the horses. You can guarantee that if I bet on a cryptocurrency, if I invest in a cryptocurrency, if I trade with a cryptocurrency, it'll be like a horse that I bet on if I was to do any horse racing. We'll inevitably either throw its rider off and run away, or it'll just fall over or sit down and refuse to run anywhere. Anyway, see you soon. See you next time. Take care.